All right. Good afternoon, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans. It is I, Gregory Puff, here with Groggy Dog on Randomania 2. This is a submission video. This is what we're kind of doing today, just randomly here, 11 a.m. on a Saturday afternoon. This will be for the Ale Project, and it is presented by Calithon. So, Groggy Dog, how you doing?
I'm not doing too bad today, Greg. Thanks for asking. I'm really excited to be part of this submission. I think it's for a great cause, and excited to see some very fun randomizer action. Got a lot of good flags today. Hopefully, going to be a pretty fast-paced one with no loose out there.
Yeah, so already with the no loose out there, well, I was going to say already there's a big difference in parties, but not really. I expected with no loose there to be some black belt action, but no, we got fighter, thief, red mage, black mage on one side, and then a more traditional, well, not traditional, but fighter, red mage, black mage on Ragnarok side here. What do you think of the difference between those parties?
You know, I'm always sympathetic to the tank and three casters kind of thing that Ragnarok's going. I think depending on how much time they spend on the overworld, which should be fairly low with the 0.6 encounter rate both the dungeon and topside, that thief, could be more or less helpful depending on how tricky those encounters are to get away from. But right now, I kind of favor that three caster look, but assuming you get good magic.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the three caster look as well. Like I said, one of the big differences, between having a lead fighter and the lead black belt is if they had black belt, they wouldn't have to check quite as many chests. But obviously, with the fighter, they're going to be checking more chests, even with the zero loose items. So with the flags, I mean, like you said, pretty fast flags. We've got 21 key items or incentive items with Massa and Opal Bracelet in the incentive pool, as well as your standard key items. And then we've got 21 locations, all your standard NPCs, your fetch quest rewards are all going to be shuffled around. And then we've got Ice Cave. We have Titan's Trove, which is a relatively new incentive location. It's one of the boxes in the Titans room, just west of Melman. We also have Earth Cave. We have Mermaids. We have Volcano, which is the red armor or the flame armor chest. And then lastly, we have Canaria Lock, which is the TNT chest. So all those areas are going to have key items or something that is part of the incentive pool. We're going to go on ahead and let these runners go here in a little bit. Do you want to talk about any other flags that you think are interesting right now before we get these racers going?
Yeah, so I think, did we talk about blurst weapons? As these runners get going, they're going to start finding weapons and armor, and it's going to look a little bit different than you might normally expect it. We're going to see weapons and armor with various modifiers, either positive or negative modifiers. That can really change what is valuable. A dragon armor, which is the best armor in the game, at -5, you're maybe not going to choose that over Opal, but we start with a Lock 2 and a Nuke early on the Black Magic side. So yeah, absolutely that three caster look is looking decent. That's going to be for the Red Mages and the Black Mage as well.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of shocked Minhthemage didn't re-roll to get rid of that thief, because he's just, you know what I mean? Like, you may as well have three casters throwing nukes out left and right. I mean, you're going to be able to gain levels super quick, especially with the modifier that they have on the 3 times plus 100 plus 5 per key item, so 5% per key item. So
yeah, absolutely. It'll be really interesting to see too, I think, if Min, instead of re-rolling, just decides to go with the 3-man party. This is a pretty forgiving flag set for that kind of thing. With the bosses topping out at 200%, it's less imperative that you get really high levels with a 3-man party. So I think as long as the white magic available to the red mage is halfway decent, that's not a bad idea. Just kind of get those quick levels, go a little bit speedier, find a decent grind tile that'll do you some favors. I don't hate it. And Min is going to skip those chests. If you don't have any loose, we've been watching the spring tournament where you got to check the loose, especially in Temple of Fiends. He's just going to go straight on and take out Garlic without looking too much. So we're going to get a very quick peek at what the King and Princess Sarah are holding for runners.
Yeah, actually, no, he goes for the Garlic.
Oh, there he goes.
Garlic kill, and he is gonna actually check the chest. I'm a little surprised by that. Like I said, or like you said, 0 loose items. There's kind of really no reason to check these chests. There might be a cheeky in one of these boxes or some good gear, but I mean with 2 nukes on his side and 3 nukes on Rag's side, they have all the firepower they're gonna need. I mean, plus you got fast and lock on those levels for the it's gonna be pretty easy sailing. Speaking of sailing, the king has the ship, took the ship from Vicky, and and it looks like Sarah has the chime. So
Okay, some interesting early plays, and yeah, I think the randomizer provides some really interesting risk calculation, I suppose you could say, in terms of what chests you want to open in a seed with no loose. Obviously, in a normal game, you would collect increasingly better armor as you go, but in a randomizer, especially with a fighter, which is going to want to see good weapons, going to want to see good armor, there's going to be a balance for these runners in terms of what chests do they open, what chests do they not open. Obviously, some big ones like the armor in Volcano, where there's a bunch of chests in very close proximity to each other without having to go out of the way. Those are going to be easy targets. But as soon as you commit to just doing that, of course, the ribbon that you need is going to be in some far-off chest in the Sea Shrine or somewhere awful. So it'll be interesting to see, how many total chests these runners open. Not much doing in white magic for Provoca. Don't need too much out of the way of black magic. We're gonna get Warp, Zap, and Quake anyways, so extremely generous in the black magic. Ragnarok's 3-caster party looking even better now.
Yeah, so the warp charges specifically are going to be nice. Nuke already, the best black magic spell in the game, base damage between 100 and 400 damage. So it's going to pretty much mow these pirates down. Quake and Zap. Quake, obviously, Earth Elemental, Insta-Death. Okay, but it's an Insta-Death spell, so obviously it could fail. Same thing with Zap. It's Time Elemental, Insta-Death. There's our canal. So we've got the ship in the canal. We can already get out of the inner sea here. Since there's no other fetch quest turn-ins in here, we have pretty much only one other place to go right now, or two other places to go. We obviously can hit up Earth Cave because we know Earth Cave is incentivized, and we've got Crescent Lake, which is going to have a key item in the Sages. Part of the flags that we have on, you can talk to the Sages before killing Lich.
Yeah, so, and I think there is sort of an interesting calculation here again with, now that we have access to warp, while we might not normally want to go down into Earth Cave, the incentivized chest is right before the part where you need the rod to go down to basement 4, basement 5. But we have warp, so we can't get back out pretty easily. That might be sort of an interesting galaxy brain play, is like right now, okay, go to Crescent Lake, get that free chest, or with the spells you've got, check out Earth, and I mean, hey, maybe the rod is there. Maybe you get floater. There's always the potential for that sort of unexpected huge play.
You can see men going for the spring tournament play, which would be to check Matoya for those 3 chests, trying to look for that loose canal. But we already have the canal. So there's really no reason to go to Matoya's cave with 0 loose. Minhthemage, both of these runners don't have much in the way of money right now because obviously they haven't gotten much money from the few battles they've taken. So Minhthemage is not going to go to Elfland right now to check level 2 or 3 and 4 magic. It looks like he's going to sail to Crescent. I actually like the idea of hitting up Earth Cave. Again, with 0 loose items, you can just really go mode the dungeon.
Yeah,
you can just head right down, especially with nuke charges. Run down there super quick. Kill the vampire, get the chest, use your 3 warp charges on your 3 black magic guys to get yourself out of there, and then you're good to go. It's like a maybe minute and a half or 2 minute check depending on the encounters you get on the way down.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you mentioned just a second ago about money. Ragnarok did have to go back and grind a little bit to get some extra money to afford all the black magic spells for his mages, because there are just so dang many of them. Now, Ragnarok also doing the Matoya check. This could just, maybe he's like, okay, I'm not going to be back here for a while. Let's just see if there's something in these chests.
Asps with Fire 2 is rough, especially if you decide to do that Earth play. Earth 2 known for housing big packs of those asps. So,
yeah, it looks a lot worse now. And we see Minhthemage getting to Crescent Lake. The old men seem a little confused there, Craig.
I don't know what's happening with him. It must be one of the flags that was it was a very popular flag about a year ago, but not so much now. And Minhthemage with the big play, getting crystal from this turn-in, so he's going to actually save himself time that Ragnarok's not going to save by skipping Matoya's cave.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because Ragnarok did just pull an Aegis Shield and the Flame Shield. Obviously that Flame Shield he can equip now, but that Aegis Shield too, it's a little bit of a buff over the normal Aegis Shield. It's going to be real nice on his fighter down the line. But yeah, it's not going to be just a ton of time lost at the end of the day. A minute or 2, which can be easily made up elsewhere, but I'm sure Min will be very excited to see that Aegis Shield when he gets in there.
Yeah, Min doing a overworld grind on these XPs off the hard reset. Not a bad call. Could stand to get some money and some levels before heading back over towards the inner sea to do his crystal turn-in. We'll see what Ragnarok decides to do after checking, doing that Employee check, and didn't really, like you said, didn't really get much in the way of money. Got 2 bits of armor that he's going to want to hold on to, so it's not like he could sell them for money. And now he's going to head into Elfland, and with the lack of money that he has, he's going to have to double dip the city. So not sure how I feel about this play, especially with that expensive temper.
Yeah, but again, just an embarrassment of riches when it comes to the black magic side.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you just sort of say, like, okay, I don't need healing spells this game. I'm just going to kill everything before it touches me. Chain 1, that'll be good for the red mage as well as the fighter, which I don't think we've seen anything better for at that price level. Certainly not ready to spend too much money on everything else that was there. Yeah, the ice -5 at 11,000 is not too appealing, but Chain 1 will be good enough for... Oh, we got Copper 4. Okay, I missed that earlier. So yeah, again, the Blurshed Weapons changes how you view different pieces of armor in terms of what they are able to provide you. So I think that looks pretty good, at least for early game armor for Ragnarok over there.
So I do want to point out something that's happening on the Minhthemage's side. It's actually very fortunate. He actually has a steep turn to stone, and I'm going to assume, based on the way that the seed is going so far with the black magic, that he's going to be carrying a statue around with him for a little bit.
Yeah, I
which
think
is better than I was going to say, it's definitely better than a Dan party member, because you can always just use this off to bring that person back. So it's a great way to Dan a member without actually danning a member. Ragnarok gonna get out of the inner sea here in a moment. I'm going to kick this off to you a little bit, because we mentioned Blurshed Weapons. Can you go into a little bit more detail about what that actually means, as far as like body armor versus shields versus weapons and so forth and so on?
Yeah, I would love to. There are people who are much smarter than me that should be talking about this. The basic idea, though, is that for every 1 point, you're essentially gaining 2 attributes, whether that is Absorb or whether that is Attack, I believe. So what Blurshed Weapon pays off is, here lies Minhthemage, says Ragnarok over there in Melman. What it pays off is a very detailed understanding of the game's architecture. It pays off knowing, okay, silver bracelet and chain armor are the same armor level, essentially. So if I have a red mage that has silver 3 and chain -1, well, suddenly I know those are not equal. The silver is much better in this case. So while I would love to be smart enough to tell you in much more detail than that, the basic idea is you are rewarded for knowing not just the relative levels of weapons and armor, but also very specifically what the exact values are. This is a big numbers game in a lot of ways, and people who know those numbers have an advantage. Getting some help. Body armor is +2 absorb, -2 weight, and other armor is +1, -1. Appreciate the assist there.
Sarah helping us out big time
Yeah.
with that. Body armor, yeah, +1 and all. Yeah, and then the weapons are kind of the same. It's like for each one, it's like attack 1 and then crit +2 or somewhere in that general area. But Minhthemage went and checked dwarves, got the 2 chests, and then immediately got the crystal turn in, and it turned into the TNT. So we're going to get a triple dive of Dwarf Cave. Again, something that could have probably been routed a little bit differently. You'll notice on Ragnarok's side, which I didn't mention earlier, that some of the sages are disappearing after he talks to them. That's another flag we have turned on. It's called NPC Guillotine. Basically, if an NPC has like 1 line of dialogue, then they will disappear after you talk to them. It's usually useful for bats, dragons, and dwarves, just like NPCs that get in your way in either towns or certain areas, and you're just trying to get through the area without getting flat blocked in like a place like Earth Cave or Marsh Cave, which I doubt we'll see Marsh Cave today.
And I would certainly hope not.
And another little bit of help here. Weapons are +2 to attack per number, +3 for hit, and then +3 for crit now. So they've changed it up just a tiny bit. So pretty the way that the Blurshed items, and then of course any negative would be negative for that. Man, we got exit in the late mage slot. Not that we really need it with the warp charges. Minthemage in a better position to do some shopping here in Elfland because he does have a little bit more, not much more money. Unfortunately, Fade is locked out, but with Nuke at level 1, not really much need for Fade. So again, you know, I still feel like Ragnarok, while Minthemage is routing this a bit better, Ragnarok still has a lot more going for him with the 3 black casters versus Minthemage with the 2 black casters, but he is doing the 3-man strat, so he'll get levels much quicker.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, now that we know that there's not really a lot of low-level healing available, it puts a little bit of Fear of God into a 3-man party. We saw Life 2 and Life, I believe, both at Crescent Lake. Let me double check our notes on that. Certainly, I saw Life 2 there, so, you know, we're looking at, you know,
yeah,
revising our party members is not necessarily going to be something we're going to be doing a lot of this game, at least until much later. Gonna get the loot. Not something you want to see for progression, but you need it for the end game anyways, so.
It's a strange turn in there, you know, you blow up a piece of rock and get a guitar for your troubles. So here's the crazy part, and this is something that you and I mentioned earlier, was the Earth play. Earth is on the table now. It's the only thing left. So if these guys had run in there, done the warp trick, they'd probably be a little bit closer to progression. While you need the loot to finish the game, it's not really what we need for progression right now. So we are going to have an early Earth dive minus a rock. Force the double dip of Earth Cave is happening here.
Yeah, exactly. And it'll be interesting to see. We're either going to get floater or canoe or something that leads to that. Obviously, runners probably want to see the floater, going to give them a whole lot of access to the game much quicker. Yeah, we saw Sea Shrine is open. Yeah, with the Oxyale that was on sale. So at that point, you kind of decide, like, do I have the levels to take that on? Do I think I can handle that? Luckily, the whole mermaid floor where the incentivized item is in the Sea Shrine doesn't have encounters. So if you can get through the first 2 floors just fine, you can warp back out. Knowing that Oxyale is on sale, I think that's a really strong play right now.
Yeah, I think that doing this, getting in here, trying to get some money, maybe grind some stuff out, might be fine just to get the money to pick up the Oxyale, plus you're going for a key item anyway. Personally, the birds is actually kind of a little bit. Ooh, these airs have no HP. Never mind. This air battle is actually kind of intriguing to me with the 2 nuke charges. He should be able to get money and levels pretty quick. With the warp at level 2, he can just go up and down in this Hall of Giants, exhaust his nuke charges, use his warp to get out of here without talking to those birds, and be able to save the game if he has a house and then go back in. So this is actually a better grind than I would ever expect airs to be. It can roll pretty high and can exhaust a lot of charges more than 1 or 2 rounds of combat to get through.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely aided by the low HP and early level 1 nuke. 4,400 is not a bad number to see. It'll be interesting to see how long Min stays here. No longer. Min's gonna take that and probably just go ahead and finish. Oh no, he's not even gonna finish that Earth dive. I think he's probably gonna make for C.
Interesting play, considering he's right there, and with warp charges, I am a little flabbergasted by this particular routing decision. But hey, you know, it's a calculated risk to say the least. He's already level 15, so I can't imagine he's scared of anything in Earth Cave. He just doesn't want to have to double dive Earth Cave.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the overriding concern for Minthemage here, and that's just something you kind of got to take. He probably has those asps in the back of his mind. I wouldn't want to see too much of those, and that could potentially lead to a very frustrating Earth experience, even if he's at his level. So we'll see how quickly he can get to C and how nasty those encounters are. Hopefully not too bad. If he's
I know why he's leaving. I don't think he has Pures. He's poisoned right now. His fighter is poisoned, and I don't think he has Pures in his inventory.
Aha! Yeah, good sight there.
Because I was like, I can't imagine why he's leaving right now. But then I saw that he was poisoned, and since he hadn't, unpoisoned his character yet, it's got to be the reason why he's getting out of there.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Yeah, so Ragnarok getting his TNT, a little bit behind Minthemage right now on the TNT turn-in. gonna get the good news about the guitar, but the bad news about the fact that he either has to dive Sea Shrine or Earth Cave in order to get some sort of progression here. So we talked about how the floater's fantastic. Obviously, the floater's going to get us into the air. We have some map edits on right now, so we actually don't need the canoe to get to that Ryukon desert where the airship is located. We have a ship dock right below it. So once we get the floater, we can just sail right there, dock our ship there, and get ourselves straight in the air with no issue.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that I don't think we've seen just yet is the item magic shuffle. You want to talk a little bit about what that flag does?
Yeah, so item magic, there are certain items in the game that cast spells when you use them as items in combat. So there's things like the Zeus Gauntlet and the Thor's Hammer that do lit 2. Oh gosh, something had thunder on the Mage's side. The black shirt does Ice 2, the white shirt does Invis 2, Defense Sword does Ruse, so forth and so on. So those particular items, anything that already casts a magic spell, those spells are actually going to get to different spells. And it tells you when you pick up the item. There's no guessing. So instead of picking up a Zeus Gauntlet, you'll pick up like, a Mute Gauntlet, or you'll pick up a Nuke Gauntlet. Or you'll pick, you know what I mean. So, and it'll tell you in all those, Pain Sword, Defense Sword, all the axes, the 2 light axes, the heal staff, so forth and so on. All that stuff will roll into a different magic spell.
Right. Now we see a little bit of what I was talking about earlier with regards to chest checking. So Min had 3 chests there on that last floor that were really close to the route that he's taking anyways. Now on this next floor, there are some just abysmally scattered chests that you hate to check when you have to do it. Hopefully we're going to see Min skip right over that. I don't think the calculus is worth it, although he's going to go for this chest right away, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I agree. Not that I should be telling anybody how, pick up in the Astral chest there, Dragon Armor +5. So not only is that the best armor in the game as far as absorb and evasion is concerned, but you get the +5 modifier on there, which is a +10 because it's a body armor. So basically you are now a tank, plus the Dragon Armor offers lightning, fire, and ice elemental resistances. You can't equip it now until after class change, but it's still a huge pickup. So
yeah, between the Aegis Shield and that Dragon 5, that fighter at its efficient level is going to be, for all intents and purposes, invincible.
So I was too busy staring at Minhthemage's screen and talking about the item magic, and Ragnarok is already down to Mermaid, so we're going to get both right away here. So first, a little bit of route divergence here, and I'd like to see it. We might get a double pickup here because it looks like Minhthemage takes down the vampire. We got the canoe on Minhthemage's side, and we got the floater. That is bad. That's great for both runners, but really bad news for Minhthemage because now he has opened up a lot more of the world that the floater could potentially be in his mind, whereas Ragnarok already has the floater and he can get in the air. Now, granted, Ragnarok can only go to a few places with just the floater, so he's going to eventually have to make his way and get that canoe. But man, that's crazy pickups on both sides.
Yeah, it's funny now that the seed might hinge on what's it ordeals. Minhthemage is going to be able to get there. Ragnarok currently not going to be able to get to ordeals. So if something important is there, that might favor Min. But if it's a nothing burger, then
yeah. So something I meant to mention earlier, and I hadn't really been talking about, but I'm going to talk about it now since we're on this tile over here on Minhthemage's side. You'll notice that he's taking on Badman. Badman typically don't come in big packs like that until you're in Topher, but you notice he's in Earth Cave right now, specifically on a spike tile that houses Earth element. What we have on right now is we have not only the spike tiles are shuffled, but we have B-side encounters, or better encounters is what it says on the floor. And it just basically puts different encounters into the spike tile encounter pool, and then puts them onto the spike tiles here. So instead of the earth elementals, we've got these big old packs of badmen, and right now he is getting the business from these badmen. It can be dangerous to grind big packs of badmen just because of how hard they hit. As you can see, DJ's already down, so he's lost a Dukecaster. And if he gets bad turn order again, then Ron could potentially go down, and he'll lose all this grinding he's doing.
Yeah, we're
Man,
seeing
he's
exactly why the 3-man is a double-edged sword. You know, he's already at level 20 on 2 of his characters, but that could have gone south very fast. Got to be a little bit careful with the 3-man party. But again, I haven't looked at Rag's levels in a while, but I can't imagine he's quite as high as Min is right now.
especially with one person alive. I'm not sure what happened on Ragnarok's side to where his fighter is the only person alive, but that appears to be what's happening. So he is almost there, and here's the dock that I talked about earlier on Ragnarok's side. So he can just ship there, use his floater, and he's in the air. It's 22 minutes, 20 or 45 seconds.
Yeah, it's gotta feel good. Minthemage, noteworthy, buying some gold bracelets for a mere 10,900 over on what is that, Melmond, I think. So he is well armored for this point in the game. He doesn't have the transport that Rag has right now, but he has the levels and he has the equipment. So he's also probably feeling really good right about now.
So the big thing is the route divergence that we're going to get here. Ragnarok, without the ruby, is able to talk to Sarda here. He doesn't have to kill the vampire to talk to Sarda because the early Sarda flag is on. He's going to get the adamant, so his third trip into Dwarf Cave, and see what that piece of rock turns into. While Minhthemage, like I said before, has way more of the world to explore. Right now, he has ordeals he could go to. He has Ice Cave. He has a volcano. He has waterfall, and he has the sea shrine with the oxyale pickup in the vendor item.
Yeah.
So a lot of places, whereas Ragnarok, I think, really only has 2 places he can go. He can go to Earth Cave, or he can go to volcano or ice. So 3 places.
Well, he just picked up the bottle, so he's going to Gaia now, I bet, before he checks anything else. So let's see. Yeah, there he goes. Let's see what he gets here.
Bottle, just more fetch quests. Each fetch quest thing that he does in this game gives him that extra 5% experience. Mm-hmm. And looks like Minhthemage is going to go on ahead. And where is Minhthemage going? He parked his boat there. We'll see what he decides to do. I don't... Yeah, because he was heading south. He would have stayed... Unless he's just trying to avoid the river system.
It's possible. Yeah, I'm interested to see... No, yeah, he's going up. I think he might be going to... He might just be trying to take the short way to Volcano from where he was.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That's a good routing decision to just going ahead. And this is not a bad play, hitting up Volcano and Ice, because they are right next to each other. They're both incentive locations. Ice is an easy check, plus there's tons of chests down there if he needs to pick up more gear. Not that he really needs it with the Aegis Shield and the Dragon Armor and all that stuff.
Mass Immune 3 over there from the Fairy and Gaia. So we know where that is now. That is choice. And I have to imagine that Min is going to get that. So I think for Min, you're looking for a ribbon or 2 before you just stop checking chests together.
Yeah, I would say at least 1 ribbon on that red mage, specifically for promotion, because we know that one of the life spells is going to be red mage learnable.
Right.
Because or red wizard learnable, because the bottom 3 slots in level 6 are learnable, and we know that there's some life spells there.
Yeah, that definitely feels like the minimum win condition right now is Kale and Mass Immune on top of everything else that you need.
Especially since you can't really bank on getting the defense sword, because obviously the item magic is shuffled. We know Ruse is level 1, and it is night learnable, so that could be another win condition there. Just being able to make sure you can pick that up and have some defense. And these birds have cremate. I didn't notice that earlier.
Yeah, I think too, you also start thinking about, okay, like, what is the minimum I need to beat Topher right now? And I think with how strong that fighter is going to be with all the equipment, Cape is always welcome to see. You got to be feeling less and less antsy about not having the defense, just knowing how much other stuff that you do have.
Yeah. So yeah, we noticed something in the shops earlier, that certain items that are in the shop are for sale that wouldn't normally be for sale. Like ice armor, flame armor, stuff like that we seen. We have a item shop shuffle turned on, but we also have random armor and available, not elite gear, not like the really, really high-end stuff or the caster gear, but we do have nice things like you saw, the ice armor and the flame shield and stuff like that for sale in shops.
Yeah, and Rag just found a really gross enemy that is. Ooh, images or images. I don't know why I always say images as if they're an Apple product. Images with Zap, which is going to be an instant death spell for 3 out of 4 members of his party. It looks like he is going to just try and take his Black Mage. He's going to do a warp trick here and then get the heck out, I think. So what's going to happen now is warp is not usually accessible at this point in the game. If you drop down that one specific tile and hop back up, you get access to a chest that you would otherwise have to route all the way through Ice Cave to get. He finds a slab, which is going to translate it Lefane since he has the airship, but that warp allows him to just get right back out. So I think that was sort of a good play. He didn't panic out of that situation. He was able to stay there and get what he needed, get out, and now he can revive his party members without having to double dip ice. So savvy move there by Rag.
Minhthemage, big pickup and a move that I expected him to do the second he got it. He picked up a katana here in this far left room of the Agama floor. Katana 3, so it's got the same modifier as the Mass Immune. It's the best weapon for his ninja or his thief. So he went on ahead and unstoned his thief so that his thief could be alive. He's got plenty of levels on his other party members. So at this point, having the run chance is going to be great for him.
Yeah, I think that was the best case scenario for him. He's going to be able to use some of the armor that he's not using on his fighter, because the ninja can do a surprising amount of that fighter armor. So he's already going to be pretty well set in terms of armor for that ninja, plus the Katana 3. Yeah, I think that was a no getting it back up.
Yeah, and Ragnarok is going to be behind him as well. It's going to probably do a lot of the same checks, hit up the armory, that big room on Volcano 2 that has all those chests. You'll see these runners now that we've seen so much gear and there are 0 loose items. You're going to see these runners take a little bit more risks as far as the chests that they're willing to check. As already Minhthemage has quite a few chests coming down to this floor. We're going to see this room, which is the cube. It is required to get you into the Sky Palace. That's more places for Minhthemage to check in the game. Even though Sky isn't incentivized, it still opens up Sky. So right now, Minhthemage, where are we at here? We don't have the rod on his side. He hasn't bought the Oxyale yet, but we know the Oxyale's for sale, and we need the key. So we need the key and the rod, essentially, to be in go mode. Those 6 items get you into all the Fiend dungeons, and the key and the loot get you through Topher. So that's kind of like our go mode here. As we take on Carrie. Ooh. Carrie opens up the thunder, takes down Min, the thief that he just recently brought back to life, but luckily everybody else stays alive. Gets some fast and temper charges off, and then switches to nuke strats, which I like. So 258 for the first nuke, 185 for the second nuke, and then a big hit, 244 from Carrie onto Carrie. Let's try to use words here. As nuke takes down Carrie, we're good to go.
Now, I think my immediate concern now is that Min has a lot of great armor. Ragnarok, not necessarily at the same point. I'm a little bit worried that with 3 casters, that if Carrie also opens up Thunder on that side, we're going to see a potential dead party and one guy swinging fruitlessly at Carrie. Ragnarok's going to have to, I think, rely a little bit on luck as well as his party composition.
Now, one thing I am noticing, so we've got Massa, right? So we've already got that first of the kind of what we call dud items, like items that aren't really necessary to get through the game. While the Massa, I would never call the Massa a dud, but but you don't really need it to beat the game. The other those items is, of course, the Opal bracelet, which we have not seen yet, and then the tail, which again is another thing. While it's fantastic, you don't really need it. So potentially Ragnarok, if the Opal bracelet and the tail are in Waterfall and in Ordeals, he could maybe go without the canoe. Just depends. It depends on where those items end up falling, because those are the only 2 places that you need the canoe to get to.
Right. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out again.
Whereas
I have difficulty saying which runner is ahead right now. I think Ragnarok obviously has the items, but Min is in such a great place in terms of levels and items.
Yeah, but on the reverse side of this, we already know the Massa is the bottle turn in. If the slab turns into the opal bracelet or the tail, then Minhthemage may not need the airship to finish this game.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in interesting situations, right? With these two runners. Minhthemage obviously lighting up his first orb. Now there's one of our first of the what are they called? The item magic shuffle, which wasn't much of a shuffle at all because it was a staff that cast Confuse, and well, the wizard staff already cast Confuse.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering if Min might have just forgot to buy Oxyale. I saw that as well. I don't see it in his inventory. He bought a lot of things there. I'm wondering if I thought he remembered there for a second. That is always a really tough thing to happen. You know, things like not talking to Vicky after you beat the pirates. As we watch Ragnarok just barely escape with his life over there. Very much concerned for him right now. He's gonna warp. He's got 3 warp charges, which is gonna get him most of the way.
Yeah, he's gonna go on ahead and warp out of here. He's got the airship, so warping out of this place isn't gonna be too bad. He just needs to avoid encounters trying to get out of here. It is a time suck, but one thing I did notice, you said images earlier had Zap, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now Zap came out of that Ogre on that
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's untouched. Zap came out of the Ogre over on that spike tile and on the Agama tile, which we could potentially have first turn Zap on the Medusa script.
Yeah, that's potentially going to be a very unfun section. One thing I think we haven't pointed out yet that may not be common knowledge for people is that Ragnarok is showcasing routing in Volcano. He is primarily walking on the lava, which seems a very silly thing to do, but your encounter table doesn't move forward when you walk on the lava. So that is going to be the preferred routing, especially if you are not looking to take fights, if you are just trying to get there as fast as you can, and you have the heal pots or the healing spells to back it up. Right now, Ragnarok does. So if you're wondering why he's spending so much time walking around that red liquid, now you know.
Yeah. So here we go. Minhthemage, the images with Zap. Gonna be able to get away from it. He's on the same encounter table as Ragnarok, so he should be able to get to this tile and warp out of here. He did not walk along the wall, so unfortunately he takes another encounter, but is able to get away from it. So when we talk about walking along, I'll try to explain it more when we're in a situation where it's actually happening. Ooh, no. What? Oh, no, he accidentally... Okay, cool. He's able to warp out. He's good to go. Yeah. So I'll try to explain it once somebody's in a room and I can go over what walking along the wall means. It would have saved him some steps, basically, and he wouldn't have got that last encounter before doing the warp trick on ice.
Yeah, just like we were talking earlier about how the Blursh weapons really rewards that intimate knowledge of the mechanics of the game. You find a lot of that in routing too, not just knowing that walking on lava doesn't advance the encounter table, but things like that. There is even sort of a tricky way to navigate rivers when you're on the overworld that could potentially save some steps. There are a lot of ways to run this game without a deep knowledge of the original Final Fantasy, but man, does paying attention and having that knowledge really afford you some advantages that can pay off in the long run.
Yeah, Minhthemage running into unrunnable Hydras, takes a swing at him, didn't kill him right away, so just resets out of the battle. Not a bad play. You're not going to get much experience from Hydras, and it's going to take you entirely too long to actually kill him, so you may as well just go on ahead and reset out, and then he will take this battle. Ragnarok in a much better spot after getting the cube now, able to get away from those Ogres without seeing Zap. So I was going to go on ahead and take on Carrie here in just a moment and light up his first orb as Minhthemage makes his 4th trip back to Crescent. Hopefully remembers to pick up the Oxyale this time. So,
crossed.
Yeah.
All right, Ragnarok taking on Carrie. He's going to hit pretty hard with those nukes. Again, the benefit of having so many casters is you have so many nuke spells to do. And yeah, Carrie doesn't put up a fight. Takes down me, but... Ragnarok's gonna get through that fight just fine. Otherwise, a surprise little red dragon encounter right there at the end. But I can't imagine this is gonna be more than a second's delay before Ragnarok heads topside with his first orb.
Yeah, nothing feels worse than getting a random encounter right after a fiend kill, and Ragnarok with the airship able to get out of there. Nuke on Carrie. Yeah, no, I've never. No. What's worse is killing a fiend, then getting out of the place just to take one step off and get killed from a random encounter.
Yeah, now
But again, I don't know anything about that. I know you wouldn't know anything.
I wouldn't know about the parking spot named after me for the airship right now outside Volcano. Now, my stream did stutter a bit. I didn't see if Min remembered to buy the Oxyale, so we're gonna have to take a look at his inventory when we get him a second. I'm worried. It's those little things that you forget. Yeah, I don't see it in there. Those little things that you forget can be the things that take a great run and make it something that just feels so frustrating, because you immediately you get to a point where you think, I've checked everywhere. What did I miss? What could I have possibly missed? Especially if you're writing things down or tracking, giving some external memory aid if you've done it incorrectly. It's a rough spot to be in. So fingers crossed for Min that he remembers soon.
Yeah, I just peeked in his inventory, and he definitely does not have the Oxyale, and he is going the long way to get back to it. Again, if the slab turns into something like the opal bracelet or the tail, then potentially Min does not need that. Well, no, Min needs the Oxyale to finish the game. Like, it is a go mode item, so he needs that to get the sea shrine, but he may not need the floater per se to finish the game, if that makes any sense. Whereas,
I think just because of that knowledge, I gotta put Ragnarok in the lead. As we get a stake over there on Ragnarok's side, one of the fun percent flags that you can do for the randomizer is turn T-Rexes into, or Tyros into stake.
Oh, that was a T-Rex, bud.
T-Rex.
Yeah, so thing real quick, not to talk over you, but we have shuffle and counter rarity on. So typically T-Rexes, I'd never seen T-Rex in my childhood. I didn't even know that enemy existed in Final Fantasy until we started doing the randomizer, and shuffle and counter rarity became a thing. And you'd see more of these like super ridiculously rare encounters, like the T-Rex there near Mirage, and you'll see a few more of those rare encounters. I'll try to point them out in a little bit if we end up seeing some. But yeah, Minhthemage right now only a couple of places since he still hasn't picked up the Oxyale. He can go to Ordeals, or he can go to Waterfall. And we already know that that's obviously not going to lead to the Oxyale, and it's not going to lead to his floater. Ragnarok in Mirage looks like he...
interested by this play. I think he's probably going to be using this as a chance to get some levels, look for good items. You certainly have the opportunity to do both in here. I feel like the money is, well, he's gonna skip less than greater than room where there's a decent amount of chests, so he might just be thinking, you know what, while I'm here, I'm just gonna try and knock out Tiamat and get it over with.
Yeah, we know those ghouls have like thunder or something, but luckily able to get away from them there. I guess the less than greater than skip, while there are 10 chests in there, it's quite a few steps to get to that room. So he's probably doing just a bunch of proximity chest checks. Like, he'll check the right room here because there's 5 chests in here. He probably won't check the other ones. Got a pro ring for his trouble.
Sun Sword -4 would be fine-ish if you didn't already have Master Mute 3.
Alright, so hopefully when Min gets down here and does Waterfall, heads into Onrak, he'll realize he did not pick up... Okay, I thought he would notice when he looked in his inventory that he doesn't have the Oxyale. But he's gonna head into Waterfall.
You might be assuming that he's gonna get the Oxyale or the floater here. I just sort of have to imagine that in the next few minutes we're gonna see Minthemage's screen just sort of pause there for a second while he ponders.
What's left?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is fortunately much kinder in a flag set like this, where there are no loose items, because you don't have to go back and chest check. You just have to remember what incentive things you messed up. Now, I did see what looked like a wall helm over there on Ragnarok. That's an exciting little find.
Yeah, wall helm is huge. It's kind of a French vanilla version of the ribbon in the sense that just wearing it's not going to help you out much, but you can at least cast wall to give you the illusion of a ribbon.
Exactly.
So wall spell normally level 8 in the game gives you all elemental resistances, and again it basically acts like a ribbon, which the ribbon gives you all elemental resistances. Is by far the best gear in the game, and we got a ruby pickup on Minthemage's side, so that's even more fetch questy kind of things that he's gonna have to deal with here.
I kind of want the opal bracelet just to force him to realize what was going on, but this is going to send him even farther out of his way, and that's going to be such a long time just sailing back and forth only to be disappointed.
Yeah, the ruby's good because, with it being in Waterfall, Ragnarok can't get that ruby. And if the ruby, lampstick, and if he's about to find out now that he doesn't have the Oxyale, so he thinks he bought it.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, and there's that moment of hesitation as you look at the screen and realize that you did not buy the thing that you really wanted to buy.
But at least he knows where it is because he thought to himself that he bought it, so at least he knows where it is. But unfortunately, this is going to mess up his routing because now he's going to more than likely do the ruby turn-in before heading back here to do Sea Shrine.
Yeah, this is still potentially recoverable for Min, especially now that he identified the problem and knows what he did. That is much better news, and it's not too hard to get to Crescent Lake from here, fortunately. It's tough because I think as you were making the mental decisions to change up your route, as you now know you have to go back to Crescent Lake, he might choose to just go do Ruby while he's over here and
or do Ordeals. Because he's right here anyway. So
maybe he doesn't remember. Maybe he's. It's possible that he didn't write it down, or he doesn't remember. Or it could be just like, okay, well, you do save time. Technically, going about it this way as opposed to the floater way. So it's possible he's just kind of like, I'll just do this while I'm on the way. I'm gonna probably
here on Ragnarok's side, we do have a Bridge of Destiny sighting. And hopefully we'll see a Warmech over here because, Warmech, the ultimate Uber boss of this game.
We will be so lucky.
Yeah, if only we'll be so lucky. But we're getting a plate of nachos happening on Ragnarok's side. So, it's okay. It's not a Warmech, but it's still tasty. And Minhthemage made really short work of the Ordeals. Such short work that I didn't even get to go over the whole pillar shuffle that happens in Ordeals. So we have a flag on that basically just shuffles. Ooh, he gets ambushed by these ogres. It's so bad. But anyways, the pillars get shuffled, so you don't know exactly how to get through Ordeals until you're playing through the game. And we've got Tiamat pickup over here on Ragnarok's side, trying to light up his second orb. Gonna do standard strats at this point. Couple of nukes, gonna fast up Cloud there with his Massa Buster and take down Tia pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's gonna be just fine for him. There's very few things at this point that are gonna give these runners trouble once they get an appropriate level. They just have too many good items and too much firepower to make it through.
Yeah, Ragnarok almost tried to turn in the slab without going to Melman first. Yep. Realizes he can't go to Ordeals without the canoe. Oh no. No, okay, good. I was about to be another little bit of embarrassment.
Why did I not do Ordeals earlier? Oh yes.
Yeah. So now he's trying to think because he doesn't have so he's confused as to where he needs to go now. He's like, well, he doesn't have the rod or the ruby. He doesn't have any more incentive locations to check right now except for Earth. He does the slab turn-in, so he did remember that. So he'll probably head up Lefane. We'll find out what the item is. Find out if this is going to be a floaterless seed or not.
Yeah, and I think he's going to find out here whether, we're going to... Okay, there's the tail in Ordeals, so certainly Ordeals is not required. If we can find the opal bracelet here at Lefane, floater, going to be optional, but...
Oh no! Minhthemage takes a wipe. The Giants have Brack. He nopes out of there because he knows he doesn't really need the tail, so he's going to get out of there. I think Minhthemage needs the tail more than Ragnarok with his thief up, though. He doesn't have Massa. He has the dragon armor and the Aegis shield. I guess he'll save the tail pickup for later when he has maybe a ribbon.
Because Min doesn't know he knows the Massa Mune is incentivized. He doesn't know where it is yet. He could just be holding out that that's going to be enough. But he has so much good gear for the promotion.
Yeah, that was just bad turn order. I mean, he had just lost a couple on the way up, and then unfortunately both Bracks went off before he could do anything, and both of them landed, which Brack has a good chance of landing on light, but
there's the key. So we do very much need the floater and the seed. It's good again that Min did recognize where his mistake was and fixed it. So he's back on track now.
So with the key pickup, it is not going to be a floaterless seed. We do need that key in order to beat the game. And it leads to Canaria Locked, which could potentially house our rod, which could be go mode for Ragnarok. so he may not need the canoe at all, depending on what this ruby turns into, because we know that the tail is an ordeal, so ordeals is potentially skippable at this point.
And Rag has the levels. I think with 200% as the max that a fiend can roll, you feel pretty decent at that level with what you've got going into Topher. Again, you stock up on heal pots and just kind of hope for the best in terms of damage. But I think, yeah, you don't hunt down the tail necessarily. I think you just, in a race setting, just go for it and hope for the best.
Yeah. So the only thing though is that if Ragnarok wants to beat Sea Shrine, he's gonna have to get in his ship, and he's gonna have to sail down to Onrak, because we do have docks below Onrak and Mirage. He'll have to sail down to Onrak so that he can actually beat Kraken. And at this point, I can't imagine he's going to do that, especially if he ends up with the rod beforehand. He'll do Earth before that and get his canoe.
Yeah, and there's the crowns. We got another inland. I think our final inland sea turn-in, besides the Arab, which we haven't gotten yet. So one more after that. Probably gonna check. Might just see if there's a decent spike tile on the other side of those chests as well. And there's the rod. So we have go mode.
Yeah, Ragnarok in go mode right now. So we know as of now he can totally skip waterfall and ordeals if he wants to. If he wants to risk a no clash change Temple of Fiends, it's possible. He's not going to have life spells. He's not going to have the ruse on his knight, but he's got the Massa 3 and he's got the levels. He should be fine.
Boldly not saving before going into Earth Cave.
Yeah, I was going to say he seems to be allergic to houses right now, because he has not bothered saving at all. There's our NPC.
I'm gonna take his aggression out on those bats.
Something I'm noticing too, the lack of ribbons. I have not seen a single ribbon pickup. Have you?
Not that I can recall.
Yeah, Ragnarok does have that wall helm, so that's at least something. But it does take a round of combat to use it. And Asp with Ice 2 after. Oh,
yeah, and that's
no,
Rag, buddy. No. Oh, that hurts.
Oh my gosh! Safety, save! He easily lost about 3 minutes there, or 3 or 4 minutes by not using any saves.
Yeah, because he's got to go back to Canaria and Astos before going back to Earth. That's a tough one.
Yeah, and that's crazy, because I'm certain he knew Asps had the Fire 2 and Ice 2, and that they live on that floor of Earth.
I think that's the exact kind of thing your brain chooses to forget in the moment when you most need it.
Yeah, Minhthemage finally, at a little bit about 30 minutes after Ragnarok, is gonna get his floater, and he's got a lot of catch up to do, but he is gonna be up an orb. No, he's not gonna be up an orb. He's gonna tie Ragnarok's orb count here in just a moment once he gets through this place and heads up towards Kraken. Because at this point, aside from like a ribbon pickup, Minhthemage does not need any more gear. He needs to get the tail, he needs the clash change, and then he needs to get the rod from the slab turn in. So slab leads to key leads to crown leads to rod, which will put him in go mode.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously I think Rag is still very much in the lead right now with everything going on. Obviously, just by virtue of being in go mode. 3 minutes of time like that certainly helps Minhthemage, though. Min, we saw at the very beginning of the game, was going very fast. And I think as soon as the pieces come together here in just a second, Min is going to book it. Which
I have to say, there has definitely been talks about how, zero loose items, it's just like, it's just a treasure hunt at that point. You just go boom, 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 and all this, and there's not going to be much in the way of route divergence, and it's going to be boring and all that. And I have to say, to those people that say that, they're wrong, because we have seen a lot of route divergence in this particular seed. I mean, Ragnarok and Minhthemage picked up 2 key items in 2 different places at the exact same time, and Ragnarok way ahead because of the floater pickup versus what Minhthemage has done with his. So it's been very exciting to watch these 2 runners do their thing. Ragnarok is going to go mode this place. He's going to probably miss this dragon armor here, which he won't be able to use anyway unless he goes to Ordeals, and then pick up his canoe. Minhthemage finally in the air, 51 minutes.
I think that one of the cool things about the randomizer is the ways in which those different flag sets force you to have a different relationship with the game. I know one of your favorite flag sets is turning overworld and dungeon encounters down to 0 and forcing runners to rely on their knowledge of spike tiles and grinding and all of that. And while obviously this isn't that extreme in this seed, it definitely poses a lot of interesting challenges, and I think it's one of the most satisfying things about solving the puzzle as you go along is figuring out not just where the things are, but the best way to address the resources you have.
Yeah, so we know now that Minhthemage is going to pick up his slab. The slab is the thing that leads to the adamant, correct? Or not the... the adamant is the thing that leads to the slab, correct?
Take a look at the notes. Thank you to our tracker Deng Wu, who's also restreaming. So we've got slab is going to lead to the key. The slab is going to lead to the key, so he's going to need that.
Yeah.
We get the herb, which I don't believe we ever saw on Ragnarok doesn't have the rubies. So we haven't seen where this herb turn is going to be. Got a feeling it's going to be the opal bracelet. I don't think we're missing anything else.
Yeah, I'm looking at the tracker now to figure out what the adamant... Oh, the adamant led to the bottle, which leads to Massa 3.
Yeah.
So he's going to be able to pick up his sword.
Hopefully he goes there, because that is really important.
Yeah.
Especially without promoting, which I think is just what he's sort of decided to do at this point.
Completely missed talking about Ragnarok's Lich sprite there. It was a road bump, because we refer to Lich as the ultimate road bump.
Yeah.
In the game, because we kind of take the teeth out of him a little bit here in the random.
Well,
and
it didn't die so easy.
Or Opal 1 there. So that's exactly what we expected that herb turn in to be, is the Opal bracelet. And then we know right now that these last 2 turn-ins that Minhthemage are going to do once he does them is going to be the Massa and the key, which will eventually lead to the rod, which will put him in go mode.
Yeah, and Ragnarok finally with the canoe makes his way to the Sea Shrine, which is going to be his last Fiend dungeon. So I think it's going to be real tough to supplant that lead at this point. Ragnarok's probably 2 wipes, maybe even, depending on where they happen in Topher before Min gets there, depending on how quick Min traverses things.
Minhthemage opting to take this tile again. He knew about it because he's been in Earth Cave already. Maybe not feeling great about his levels. I
think this is probably his safety backup to not having the tail. I definitely get the anxiety of, like, am I strong enough to go through the Simple Fiends if I don't have this awesome armor that I've collected? And that's a very real fear. I think it's a balance with the flag set, and at 200% max, I wouldn't be quite as worried about these Fiends. I think he's in a really good spot as it is. He might want to get, because I don't think he's gotten the Mass Immune yet, so he doesn't know that his fighter is for sure going to be able to keep up with the ninja with the katana, or the thief with the katana.
Yeah, because definitely at this point, I feel doing the slab and the bottle turn-in, since they are like right next to each other, not only will you get 10% more experience for doing those 2 key item checks, but you're also getting gear, you're moving the game along, you're getting closer to go mode. But I guess he just wanted to get to level 20, I guess. So he's heading over now to Gaia. I'm assuming he's already talked to Dr. Yoon with a slab, hopefully, so he doesn't get looped.
Yeah. Ragnarok making quick work through Sea Shrine, just about to head over to Sharknado floor.
Yeah, so Ragnarok did opt not to take on Kraken earlier when he was down here and got his airship. So double diving this particular continent. I guess at the time, obviously didn't feel comfortable. Plus he had just gotten the floater, and sometimes you get like super stoked about that. And we're gonna pick up our Massa 3 there. It's gonna be a huge pickup for Minhthemage, make him feel a lot better about leaving that tail behind. And blink and you miss it, and Ragnarok's already on Kraken's. He's maybe 2 minutes away from Topher here.
Yeah, this is going quick. I think he's got the levels, the items, the magic. He's in a very good position right now to burn through Topher if it's not too unkind, which remains to be seen, certainly.
Yeah, and Minhthemage, I did happen to look in his inventory, does still have the slab in his inventory. Luckily he realizes this, or just completely forgot, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like he's heading towards Melman now to do the slab turn. And again, would have been a good routing decision to go into Melman when he was in Earth Cave earlier to do the slab turn in before heading to Gaius. And now it's gonna cost him a good minute or so of air chipping around before he can get that key.
Yeah, Ragnarok over here taking the Gershark and I grind, one of the best experience grinds that you have in the game. Sorry, not a grind, just the fight. He's already pretty high levels, but you know, at 2,800 a pop, you're certainly not gonna bulk too much at that very quick fight, given everything that he's got. And just like that, he's already at Kraken his last fiend. So let's see how this goes as soon as he heals up.
Yeah, he should be in good shape right now. I mean, he has. Ooh. I love his Kraken sprite. Of course, that's Ultros from Final Fantasy VI. As you can, he's got a lot.
Yeah, so in just like that, Ultra Snake Kraken is up and down. A Masamune 3 and Nuke is, you know, it's pretty hard to beat. It's gonna take a pretty beefy fiend to be able to handle that, and certainly this flag set is not prone to churning out horrible fiends. I think Ragnarok has got to be feeling extremely confident right now. Minhthemage gonna just sort of miss him as he goes into Sea Shrine himself. Ragnarok with all 4 orbs lit, though, is headed to the Temple of Fiends. He might do a bit of shopping to get some heal pots before he goes. Looks like he wants to get something in a moment. Be looking for a spell.
Yeah, I'm not really sure, and then
I don't have any houses. We've seen he hasn't been particularly save happy, so I think he was just getting the house refresh, and he might use the cabin. Yeah, he's not going shopping at all, so he's gonna use that cabin to make sure the heals are lined up in the right spot, and he is at 58 minutes 21 seconds, heading back to the past to take on the 4 fiends one more time and go find Chaos.
Yeah, so routing decisions really been kind of hurting men. I wouldn't say so much the not going to Sea Shrine beforehand, but obviously not doing the slab turn in prior to not killing Kraken when he was here, when he got the floater earlier, and heading and getting in the air versus taking down Kraken while he was in the area. So this is a double dive of this particular continent here. So it just every kind of misstep like this has been hurting Minhthemage and has made Ragnarok's run a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely feel like it started with just the bad luck of not getting the floater and then not going to Sea Shrine after having the canoe, which wasn't a bad decision. It's just the decision that happened at the time. But yeah, then followed up by just a few missteps on the routing. Put him behind. Definitely not out of it, but it's going to take quite a bit of hustling on his part and some bad luck for Ragnarok to even it out at this point.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, he needs to kill Kraken. He needs to go on ahead and finally talk to the Lefanish now that he's done his slab turn in and get the key, which will lead to the crown, which will lead to the rod, which will put him in go mode. He needs to kill 2 more fiends as well, which obviously he needs to kill Lich and he needs to kill Tiamat. And speaking of Lich, over on Ragnarok side, we've got Speed Bump Part 2 happening here, and we got a nuke coming out. Big nuke roll there. Lich tries to attack back, but only did like 57 damage to his Terra, and blink and you miss it, and Lich 2 is down.
Yeah,
So-
I think what Min is hoping for at this point, perhaps perversely, is a chaos with basically every nuke, or some horrible gatekeeper Kraken that he might be able to luck through. Obviously, he doesn't know this. He doesn't know what's coming up for him. But I think that's going to be the last thing that'll be in Min's favor at this point. If Rag can just bust through these fiends, though, and Chaos isn't feeling too punch-happy or feeling too nuke-heavy, then it's looking very strong for Rag.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that could really be a run killer is like a first turn Zap or a first turn Bane or a first turn Crack or something like that out of one of these final fiends, since these guys don't have any ribbons. But blink and you miss it, and Carry went down, to a massive swing from that fasted and tempered Masa 3. It was like 5 hits for 1100 damage. That's some black belt damage right there.
A little bit of annoying Gershark and Sahagian unrunnable, or not unrunnable encounter, but an ambush encounter. They're gonna take their sweet time. He's probably gonna be just fine to run. He's gonna throw out a spell just in case. I think that's a wise idea, but they're certainly just gonna be a pest before they allow him to go take down one of the black mages.
Yeah. And that's unfortunate because we don't have the life magic. So he is down one nuke caster and not black mage. Sorry, that's a red mage that he just lost.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he's out on the fast and temper charge, the nuke charge off of that. He's gonna have to 3-man the rest of this dungeon, and yeah, I mean he's gonna get experience from taking this battle. Oh no, he's not, because of course his one person ran away after killing all the Wizzags and dumping a couple of nukes into that battle.
It is.
Yep, and Thunder coming out over on Minhthemage's side. It's gonna take a wipe on that spike tile, replacing the blue dragons with the Thunder ghouls.
All right, Min enters his third dungeon of the game. We're gonna see how quickly this goes, but no reason to stop and smell the roses at this point. I think we're gonna see a very quick run from Min up to Tiamat, and fingers crossed for the audience. Maybe we'll see a Warmech on the way.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here, but he's not getting the turn order he needs. Luckily, oh nope, here comes the ghouls with the Thunder, and the Thunders are rolling high, and his people aren't running away, which is unfortunate. Takes another wipe trying to get out of there, as Kraken 2 is pulled up over on Ragnarok's side.
Ragnarok wisely shuffling his party members around. Kraken can take down a Warrior of Light in one hit just like that, and you don't want it to be your fighter at all costs right now. Now, luckily, he's going to pound through with a 700 damage Master Beam swing. He's only going to have lost that Black Mage. This is where you start to feel a little bit nervous. Do you have the firepower? Do you have the health to get through? Every one of these encounters, something becomes a lot scarier because you never know what's going to happen. He runs away from that one, fortunately, but this is probably a little bit more tense than he wanted to be feeling coming into the Tiamat fight.
Well, and you got to think too, we still haven't seen a lot of boss skills and spells that could potentially ruin this run. We haven't seen a single nuclear. Granted, it could have rolled on Lich, and Lich went down in one round. Could have rolled on Carry, so forth. Ooh, we got 5 hits for 7 damage. Oh no, stop coming out. Land on both Warriors. Fire 3 is coming out. It's like we got a spell happy Tia here. Tia attacks. Luckily, doesn't hit too hard because it didn't do much damage to that already held down White Warrior up in the front row there. But Nuke is coming out of Terra down there, doing a little bit of damage, but not much. We need things to happen as he's going to dump this last nuke and fast charge into Tiamat. And no, Dang is down 10 hits.
Oh, that was a lot of bad. That was just so much bad. Now Ragnarok is going to go do something right now. It might go by. He might be like, you know what? No, I've got to promote. I think that was enough for him. He decides he's got to promote here and now. And that's exactly what he's going to do. He knows that he only has a couple places to check left, and he sees ordeals. So I think. Yeah. I don't know. It feels a little bit like he kind of got just a little bit unlucky, but we know that he is far enough ahead that this is probably the smart play. But that's really... Oh, Ragnarok, you gotta save, buddy. You're making me so nervous. Bad juju killing the wizard on the way. I think this is certainly gonna make it better for him in the long run, but sometimes you just have to decide, how many times do I want to pound my head against this thing and keep failing before I give up and try something else? That is a tougher question to answer in the moment than it feels sometimes. I think Ragnarok probably just saying, you know what, this isn't worth trying again. I've just got to promote too hard.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you here. Luckily, on the 50-50 lottery, he chose right as far as where the tail is going to be located, because we already know the tail is here. If he had gone to Waterfall, it would have just led to the Ruby, which led to the Opal Brace. So, but he does need to get through here. He didn't get the Grogers there, so he doesn't have to worry about Zap. He's not going to check any... Well, he's going to check these chests here. We know there's no ribbons here. We know at this point that either the ribbons are in Topher, or they're in chests that they obviously didn't check, or they're key locked somewhere, or they're all three are going to be down in March Cave somewhere. So the lack of ribbons definitely hurts, because Stop is the first spell that comes out of Tia. Stop is time elemental. It has a decent enough chance to hit an unribboned light warrior, and gonna get his tail here. We got these unrunnable giants. We know they have Brack in their spells list. Luckily, Brack missed on. Gonna land on his red mage. He's gonna have to nuke him down here, but should be able to get away. And on Minthemage's side, we could potentially see a Warmech. He's looking for. He wants it for us. Let's go, Min. He gets the rare encounter fighter encounter here. Gonna get some decent experience from that battle. Gets him up to level 24. How do you feel about this war mech find?
I love it. I am always in favor of it. Now, it's tough. Min probably feels a little bit behind, even though it's only the hour 6 minute mark. That is not too long in randomizer time. Yeah, it would be interesting to see how Min feels. He probably feels a little bit behind, just having gotten the floater. But you always sort of wonder, oh, what did my opponent do? I'm not 100% sure. But he's only got Earth left as soon as he's able to take down Tiamat.
Ooh, finally! So that's huge. That's all Ragnarok needs. He needs a ribbon. He needs a ribbon on one of his red mages. He needs to do promotion, and he needs to head over to Crescent and pick up either Life or Life 2, whichever one was red mage or red wizard learnable. And then he's in shape now. He'll be good to go.
This is interesting. Depending on what Ragnarok does here, if he decides to go chase down anything else, I think he's probably going to be done after he checked the cardio chest, got that one ribbon, and promote. I'd have to assume he's going to go straight back to Topher, but if he does kind of linger around and look for stuff, that might just give Min the space that he needs.
Yeah, and I don't know what Ragnarok's aversion to saving is right now, but he is making me very nervous.
So
he is not saved. I don't remember the last time he saved. I don't remember if he saved after leaving Ordeals, but he definitely hasn't saved since getting back in his airship. And Minhthemage, we checked the inventory. I don't think he's done the slab turn. He's about to get looped. So we get to see the Lupa happen.
Lupa.
That's the second time.
Twice. Yeah, that's gotta hurt so bad for Min. I feel for him. It's just like those small things can hurt so bad. It is one missed click, or it is one, forgotten routing stuff. It punishes you, especially when it comes to the slab Lefane turn in that native location, because you can't just fly door to door. You've got to fly to Moment and then park and walk and do all those encounters. It's not a quick thing to fix.
Yeah, and he actually did not. So Life and Life 2 are available level 6. Obviously opting for Life 2, that makes sense. And then of course probably going to go hit up Canaria one last time to get that ruse spell on his knight, since we know we don't have any way to buff up defenses. So he's just doing a little bit more gear shuffling and getting himself ready for Topher, since he knows that Dia was no fun. Minhthemage doing the slab turn in. The second kind of one of these routing things that kind of messed with him, not picking up the Actio when he was there, not doing the slab turn in like Ragnarok did earlier. But luckily Ragnarok didn't actually get looped.
So Ragnarok was safe.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's not one of those things that I've trained my brain to look for, and then I look and I'm like, did I see him safe just now? I hope so, because there is the off chance that, if he didn't save, he is armed to the teeth right now, to be sure. But there's always the chance that something goes wrong. Something, the wrong punch, the wrong spell, whatever. Loving his sprites there. We got a few friends from other Final Fantasy games as Minhthemage picks up the key, and is one item away from Go Mode himself.
Appreciate the class change, at least with particular classes you decide to use. Minhthemage getting his key. We know he's going to be in Go Mode here in a moment. Ragnarok using Cloud for a fighter. I like the upgrade on Cloud here with a little bit more, of a cape or whatever going on. But Terra and the Rydia sprites really make me happy. So using Terra for the Red Mage goes from the regular Terra sprite to the Esper Terra sprite, which is nice. And then, of course, you go from Child Rydia to Adult Rydia as the Black Mage. So pretty cool there. Another thing you can do with not so much with the randomizer, but with FF Hackster, is you can change your sprites up.
Yeah, it's a neat little program. I love seeing the ways the community gets creative with stuff like that. It's always fun to have runners have very recognizable
And we get Speed Bump Part 2 again. We never saw anything come out of Speed Bump Part 2 except for an attack. He attacks again for no damage, and this third nuke should take him down. And Minhthemage doing more, just picking up random stuff, and obviously he's going to have to do the Canary locked here to get the
Yeah,
crown.
I think he did something that I usually do, which is I remember a place had a life spell or some really important spell, and I just can't for the life of me remember what slot it was in and what I need to do to get it. You know, it looks like he's going back for the tail.
Yeah, he realizes it now, which I am really shocked by this. Like, if you're there, you take a wipe, you go back in and get that tail if you want it. Otherwise, this is just eating more into his time loss or his deficit at this point.
I will say to Min's credit, because I feel this very acutely, is this might just be a certain amount of nerves. What we've seen from Min is a few routing missteps where he has either forgotten to do something or didn't do something and went back. But he's known at basically every turn what was stopping him. He's been able to discover that, to find that out. To his credit, that is not always that easy. If it is nerves induced or if it is just, you know, like he's having a bad day, whatever it is. At the very least, the knowledge is going to be, you know, what gives him a chance.
Yeah, and blink and you miss it, and and Carry 2 is down over on Ragnarok side. And again, we didn't see anything from Carry, so Carry could be housing all the nuke and nuclear charges, and we may not see anything else as we get deeper into this dungeon. Ragnarok luckily not getting that ambush on the Wizsahag Urshark battle, didn't see it at all, so he's going to have all 4 Light Warriors going into this Kraken 2 battle, as Minhthemage going to make short work of ordeals and, you know, get that tail. He still hasn't gone to Canary Lock to get his crown, so he's still going to have to do all that to get into go mode. Ragnarok getting set up, doing nuke, obviously moving the Black Mage into the front row since we know Kraken hits hard. Kraken going full on vanilla and throwing out an ink. And 8 hits.
It's over. Wow. Yeah, he's got to be feeling leagues better than he was at this moment about 10 minutes ago. This potentially could be another blink and you miss it, just like we've had so many times already, because Ragnarok is that high level with that good items.
Yeah, so he knows what's coming up this time. So he went on ahead and used that wall hammer or wall helm to keep the other red mage alive. Unfortunately, it didn't go off, but luckily Stop only lands on his fighter. Now, you would want it not to land on your fighter because you want your fighter to attack, but we know that Tia has high absorb, so the nukes might actually be a better damage dealer than attacking with the Massa.
Yeah, Fire 3 charges, so.
Yeah, Fire 3 coming out doing minimal damage to the last 3 Light Warriors. More nuke charges, getting some good rolls on the nuke. Sometimes the nukes won't land, but they were landing pretty hard, and there goes Tiamat down, and we are going to see what Chaos has. We got one more Fiend left before we are done with this game.
Yeah, it looks like Min had another issue with the that zombie D-tile. He's trying to take the long way back and warp out, which is, you have to go through every single room that you went through. He has enough fort charges to do it, but that tile spooks him.
Yeah, luckily, oh yeah, there's no stairs here. Luckily, he has plenty of warp charges, so he can warp his way out of here. But I think if you have to go through all the floors, it's like 12 warp charges or something.
Yeah. Wow, we gotta comment fast because he's already doing 337 damage to Chaos. Nuke hits for 100. Ragnarok is full guns ablazing. He wants this Chaos dead. We got another nuke. What are we going to see in terms of the wall coming out just in case? It doesn't feel as urgent right now. 254 coming out from the fighter. I think he's got the right idea. A couple wall spells and just offense.
Yeah, it's actually a really good place because, again, you don't want to get this far into a Chaos bottle and then Bane or Zap come out and just take down every single damage-dealing Light Warrior. 7 hits, 724. That's a massive hit. Chaos really not doing anything but attacking. He's got 2 hits, but he's not hitting very hard. Another nuke coming out, 197. Nuke number a billion, 195. Temper coming out. Good timing there. 3 hits for something. Slow 2 lands on the wrong person, which is Rydia. Obviously, if it landed on Cloud, that would have been ugly.
Yeah, Chaos clearly rolled towards the high end of 200%. This got a lot of firepower, but he has a lot of health to match.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've definitely hit Vanilla, but Lincoln, you miss it 7 hits for 626 damage, and Chaos goes down with an official SRL time of 1 hour 16 and 26 minutes. Ragnarok is our winner on this submission. So we're going to go on ahead and pull Ragnarok into here in just a moment. And, well...
Yeah, GG's to Ragnarok. Very competently run seed. Tough to see that first Topher wipe, but I think the changes that he made were clearly more than adequate. For me, it was a toss-up between giving it another shot and leaving. I think he's probably going to feel very good about that decision to leave and just get everything that he needed. That was a cakewalk of a second Topher, so it definitely showed that he was very well prepared.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely saw a different Topher, especially on the seafloor. Not getting that ambush from the Girl Sharks and Wizahag that took down one of his light warriors, having Kraken throw out ink instead of just decimating another light warrior and having to go into that Tia battle with 2 light warriors, no ribbons, no walls, no anything. So I think that was great planning as far as trying to find the tail, doing class change, picking up life 2, and getting himself ready to rock and roll, heading back into Topher as Minhthemage right now, just trying to figure out what he needs to do last. He went to Earth Cave, realizes he doesn't have the rod, still needs to do the key turn it, or the Canaria lock turn in to get the crown, to get the rod.
This is his last check.
Yeah, so that'll be his last check, and he'll finally be in go mode here. And Ragnarok is in the booth with us. We're gonna wait until he unmutes himself.
Hey guys.
Hey Ragnarok, GG's to you.
Thank you.
That was a really well played, well executed run there. Getting that airship early really helped you out. We were concerned whether the canoe was even going to be required. It wasn't required, but you ended up needing it anyway to get the tail. You want to just kind of talk about your run and talk about how you were feeling through parts of it?
Early on, it was a little rough. That out all the way back. That one, I put my head down on that one.
I was gonna actually before you even move on, what's your aversion to saving? Did you?
I thought I saved before I went into Earth. I really did, and those asks just have my number today.
Yeah, having to walk all the way back from Lefane to do the key, the crown, then to the rod, then back into Earth Cave. I know probably didn't feel pretty good.
Oh no. Oh, that was rough. And I just knew at that point, I was like, well, now I'm behind. That's for sure.
Well, to be perfectly fair, you were pretty much ahead the second you got the floater, because Minhthemage, that was the big route divergence between the two of you, is you made the risk to go to Sea Shrine right away, and luckily paid dividends in picking up that floater, where Minhthemage made a more cautionary play and heading over to Earth Cave, but he got the canoe out of there, which opened up a lot more of the world to him for the floater to be, whereas you only had 2 options.
Wow.
Yeah. So from there...
Yeah. Does Min forget that he's got guillotine on? He can just buy bats?
Yeah, I have a hard time remembering the guillotine's even a thing. Able to get away from these zap images, and is going to make his way further into Earth Cave. And yeah, I mean, Groggy, you got any questions for Ragnarok here?
Yeah, well, GG's to you, Ragnarok. What for you became the priority as soon as you had the floater? You know, obviously there's so much that it opens up, but what, what kind of items were you looking for, and what drove your routing decisions once that floater came into play so early?
Once I got the floater, my main shot was to go straight to Stardust. I don't forget what he had, but once I got through there, my next thing was go and do ice. I have a very bad habit of forgetting ice, and with early warp, it's a very quick check. So I wanted to make sure I can get down there and get that I think that one produced the slab, which led to the key. So I split. After I went to ice, I do believe I did volcano, which I got pretty much wrecked in. Thank you, George's.
Yeah, that was one of the roughest encounters you had. I mean, it was right after you went for the incentivized chest, and it's just like that was so tough to watch.
Yeah, then I tried to get at.
You very
Out
nearly
with-
did, yeah.
And then once I got slept touched, I was like, all right, just reset. Then we'll just dive back in.
So I think that is the one thing that I really want to talk to you about, my friend, which is that my heart is still racing from the fact that you apparently don't like saving.
I saved a lot during the early.
You saved a lot and then you didn't.
Yeah.
Did a lot of cardio checks without saving too, which is a little on the scary side. So
With the level 1 nuke, I'm not super concerned about saving all that. I can pretty much mow down. It's just getting a turn order, which obviously didn't happen very often, which I should be a Q, save more.
yeah. So not to cut you off or anything, but Minhthemage is making his way down Topher. Is going to be on the earth floor here in a sec. I'm going to have to get past this gray worm. Shouldn't be too much of an issue for him. So yeah, Ragnarok, we noticed this. You got in the air right away, did the sword of turn in, turned into the mass immune. It was a big giant fetch quest. I think it was like Adamant Bottle Massa. And you had the slab in your inventory from doing the ice cave, but you didn't end up routing it in. Unfortunately, that probably didn't feel very good once you were there to have to, because you almost got looped. We saw you go for it, and then you were like, oh yeah, I still have the slab in my inventory.
Yeah, I didn't click on the slab. With my tracker, I translated it, and I didn't see it highlighted all the way. I'm like, okay, well, better not go down here. But I did get canoe blocked whenever I went to. Tried to do waterfall. That's where I was gonna go do. I was like, oh, I don't have the canoe.
Yeah, we saw that one. We saw, I think you parked at one point to go to our deals and very quickly realized that you couldn't do that one and sped off.
Yeah. So let's talk about your Tia 2, right? Obviously, you heard us talk about what happened on Kraken's floor. You lost one of your Terras and the Gershark Wizahag battle, and then you lost Rydia there and the Kraken 2 battle. And then Tiamat, 5 hits, 7 damage.
Yeah, felt real bad. And then right out of the gun, he just stun locked me for 2 or 3 turns, and I was just like, well, I don't think I'm gonna make it out of this one.
Yeah. Now let's talk about what was on your mind when you took that wipe, because you didn't go back in. You didn't think add luck or whatever. You decided to go on ahead and fortify yourself a little bit and head and look for the tail. You knew Life 2 obviously was available, Ruse was available. What were you thinking?
I was thinking I need if I was going to make any kind of dive. I honestly also forgot that I had that wall helmet too. I really forgot about that. But I honestly knew that I needed Life 2 to get through here. I don't think power throughing it is going to make it. I need a life and I need a ribbon on that life person. So I went and searched for the tail. I'm glad I chose Ordeals first over Waterfall.
Yeah, we talked about that. You had the 50-50 because we knew, you probably knew as well that the only things that were out there were the opal bracelet, the ruby, and the tail. And you had a 50-50 between Ordeals and Waterfall. And we mentioned in chat that you definitely chose wisely, as Minhthemage makes really short work of Kraken.
Yeah, very, very competent Topher to start off with. We'll see if Tiamat gives him the same trouble it gave you, Rag, but so far looking extremely strong.
Yeah, we're going to go on ahead and call this Tia battle just because we know that it could be tough here. So Min is going to attack with his ninja. He, fast temper strats on the knight in the back row there. Gets an attack off, 10 hits. Oof, 149. Stop comes out. Only lands on his red mage there. Another 4 hits for 150 from the ninja. So going to switch up the strats a little bit, put fast there on the ninja from DJ. And Fire 3 come out doing kind of minimal damage to John, luckily because of the old Dragon Armor and Aegis Shield and all that stuff, just all that elemental protection that he has there. Temper coming out. We've got 8 hits for 256, and then 10 hits for 247. Takes down Tiamat. Not much of an issue there.
Even a beef tank like Tiamat 2 there is still, there's only so much you can do against fully armed Katana and Masamune 3 with the spells to back it up. That one definitely felt like a little bit more of an inevitability than it did for Ragnarok's first run, which was just such a scary moment there.
Yeah, I have to say, I think you just got bad RNG in that battle. Not only losing Light Warriors leading into the tier 2, but the fact that stop landed on both of your guys really hurt you, obviously. But, preparation always helps.
Here we get one little party change in just shy of a minute, or an hour, 27 minutes. We get Minhthemage on the final enemy, Chaos. He's going to do the same thing. We're going to fast up, immediately get hit by slow 2 to sort of negate that, though. Fast up the fighter as well. I'm really loving that purple-pink aesthetic here against Chaos. Very nice Korean palette we've got going on. We're going to see some more support and some more fighting. Chaos has a little bit less tank to him than Tiamat 2 did. He is swinging hard already. While this is very high HP Chaos, as unfortunately Min takes a hit and goes down. I still think it's going to be just a matter of time before, with a 1,151 damage there from our friend John in the back row. That is a powerhouse of a hit.
Yeah, I don't see this taking much longer. We know that Chaos rolled somewhere over Vanilla, but I mean, if he's already doing 1,000 damage, this should do it here. 7 hits, 1341.
GG's Minhthemage.
Yeah, Minhthemage with an official SRL time of 1:27:52. We'll pull Minhthemage in here, ask him a few more questions, and then probably head on to some other stuff. While we're waiting on Minhthemage to get here, we'll hype up a couple things. Spring tournament finals next weekend, all at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time on RPG Limit Break. It's going to be the winner of Crab Cakes versus Cheesinator, which that match will happen. Match 2 will happen later on tonight on Randomania. Trying to think of the time that it happens. I want to say it's 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So make sure you check out that semifinal match between Crab Cakes and Cheesinator. And then, of course, we already know that Spellzap has made it to the finals. He defeated Thunder 2-0 this past week. And yeah, Minhthemage on here. Unzo, let's see if we can pull him in for an interview.
Yeah, he said he's gonna be in here in a couple minutes.
Okay, great. In the meantime, thank you so much to everyone who came out and watched this. Big thanks especially to Dengwu, who is our restreamer and tracker today, out in the background and Randomania. Ragnarok, how you feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. I think the race went really well. The flags are really good. No loose is always fun to play because searching for loose items can really cause times to really go up. And I think overall I ran the seed pretty well. And
Yeah.
we got Min.
Yeah,
GG,
we got
man.
Minhthemage here. GG's.
GG.
So let's talk about this for a second. So big route divergence that happened between the two of you guys was that you did the earth play, which I liked the earth play. Unfortunately, it only led to the canoe, which actually opened up more of the world to you than what Ragnarok did, which Ragnarok went to Sea Shrine first and immediately was greeted with the floater. So Ragnarok already kind of ahead from that point just because he was already in the air, whereas you had like 5 or 6 different locations you could check out before eventually finding that floater.
Yeah, it didn't help that I forgot to translate the slab, and I guess I'd never bought the Oxiel either.
Yeah, the ox. We noticed that too. We were like, man, you walked into Crescent a couple times, and both times didn't remember to pick up that Oxio. Now, at least you knew that it was there and that you thought you picked it up, because we were concerned that you just forgot the Oxio was even a thing.
Yeah, I forgot to buy it entirely. That's probably what costed me the race entirely.
Yeah, I mean, definitely being able to go down there and get and not have to sail back and get the floater, not getting bumped out of ordeals due to those brack giants, not having to go back and double dip, the Sea Shrine area. forgetting to do the slab turn in. It was just, yeah, I think the nerves started getting to you at that point.
Yeah, it was just all downhill from there. Like there wasn't a whole lot I could have done other than not forget to buy the stuff.
Yeah, well, we hate to see that there on stream. Groggy, you got any questions for Min?
So, now you took off real quick. Was when you saw Nuke level 1, was there any thought to redoing your party, or did you just kind of hope that you were going to be able to Dan your thief and just kind of run 3-man? Like, what made you decide that early on?
I considered it. I decided to keep it just because that part is what I'm comfortable running, and then yeah, I could obviously kill the thief off pretty easily and run 3-man. That's usually what I like to do anyway. So
And then we were sort of laughing. You popped that thief off so fast when you found the katana.
yeah, and then he wouldn't stay alive, and then I found the masa, and I'm like, yeah, he can stay dead. Like I was kind of banking on the masa not being like +3 or whatever it was. I was gonna rely on that katana to carry me to the end game, but that thief would just not stay alive.
All right. Well, do we have any final thoughts from the runners as we get ready to close things down?
Just thank everybody for coming out, watching us race, helping us get the submission in for everybody. Groggy, Gregly doing comms, Dang with the tracking and the restream, helping us out.
All right, Min. How about you? Any final thoughts?
Make sure you buy your items.
Wise
Ragnarok.
advice.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Ragnarok, you want to talk about saving for a moment?
My gosh. Yeah, so I did the key turn in, and then I saved at Lefane. I went and the what was the crown turn in? No, I went after I got the key. I did Canaria Castle, got the crown, did the crown turn in, went straight to Earth, and got slapped around by Aston Earth, and then reset back to Lefane. I forgot to say.
It was pretty incredible. But yeah, that's awesome. So remember to save, remember to buy items. I'm Gregory Puff on behalf of Minhthemage, one of our runners, Ragnarok, our winner today, Dang Wu, our restreamer and tracker, and Randomizer784 for helping us with the submission thing. We're really excited to do this bail bail project thing, and hopefully the submission will go through for this. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming, and join the Discord, and we'll see you guys around.